I'm Brian Van, SportbikeTrackGear.com, and today we're going to do a review on the Pitbull Rear Stand. We're going to cover all the available variants this stand is available for, focusing on lifting a sport bike. Okay, in this video, we're going to focus on lifting the rear of a sport bike. That's who we are, that's really what we do. Remember, Pitbull has purpose-built stands to lift motorcycles like a Triumph Thunderbird in the rear, specific stand for that bike. Many other variants. They react to the market, they react to the modern motorcycle, and they build products that perform at a level above everybody else. The quality, we've talked about this a million times. Look at the welds. This is artwork, all done right there in Huntsville, Alabama. The welders that are welding these products have been doing it for years. They can't just bring new people in and turn them loose on it, because Charlie V, the owner of Pitbull, his quality standards are very, very high. So high, he brought the plating in-house. We did a video on that too, went into his plating shop that he built right there on his property so that he could get the quality of the plating where he wanted it. He is that particular. So when you look at motorcycle stands and you go to different websites, see all these brands, and you're gonna notice on my side, I've whittled it down. I'm offering stuff that I really believe in. But you go to other sites and you're gonna see things like maybe Trackside. It's a stand that kind of looks like this, sells for about 50 bucks. Well, that's because it's a Chinese knockoff of this stand, but don't misunderstand it as, oh, it's as good. No, it's actually not even close. You don't wanna put your kick-ass motorcycle on a subpar stand. Then there's other models out there I've seen, say it's 125 bucks. I think Moto DS stands like 125. It's not a horrible company, right? But comparing the stands side by side, I gotta tell you, the spooled rear for this model starts at like 149, so it's 25 bucks more, and there are a couple upgrades available too. The difference in the quality and the performance of the stand is not $25 difference, it's $225 difference. This is just a phenomenal product, stands head and shoulders above the competition. Okay, now let's talk about the three different methods of lifting the rear stand. Okay, and I've got all the uprights here to show you. For track bikes only, just a focused track bike, if you're going to use rear spools on the motorcycle, we're going to gravitate and we're going to lead you towards the spooled rear stand. So it's going to come with these supports right here. If you happen to have a pair of kick-ass superbike lifters, like these Attack superbike lifters I have on my bike, we have Woodcraft available, we have some Drivens too, they're really cool. Then you're gonna want to order these GP supports that interact with these perfectly. Super cool option. Another one is their SS. This allows you to go spooled or standard. Okay, the standard, the pad style lift. I just want to be really clear with this. That is only meant to be used when you have a motorcycle that will not allow you to install spools or superbike lifters. If either one of those can be bolted on your bike, then that is the right way to lift it. It's more secure, more stable, much safer. This is only to be used in the event that your bike is not compatible with either of those items. All right, we're going to open this up with the most common way to do this. It's going to be lifting your bike by rear spools, the rear spools that are already attached to your motorcycle. You'll notice I've got the supports loose on both sides. Get the stand up against the motorcycle, and you might need somebody to help you with this. I've got the benefit of a work table right now. Not everyone has one of these at home in their garage, for sure. You want to try and get these kind of centrally located on both sides. The stand comes with those handy thumb screws, and it really does make dialing this in nice. You can take the thumb screws off if you prefer to use a wrench and snug them. You can see I've got that dialed in, and then lift the bike accordingly. Super stable. To me, this is the go-to option for everybody. The super bike lifters are more money than spools, no question. This is the go-to. If your bike can accept spools, do that and lift it by the spools. Okay, now we're going to install the GP lifters. These are going to be used with the Attack superbike lifters that I have on the bike. So we got the GP top supports. That thumb screw is handy. You can use it. Oftentimes, I like to just pull those off and go adjust the bolt itself. I'm not lifting a lot of different bikes with this. Once this is bolted on, I've got stands for each bike. I'm not going to have the need to further adjust. We've already shown you how to use these previously, so you understand that. Now with the GP supports, got those in place. We need to dial in the width. You want to leave the bolts loose enough that they can move around a little bit. You want to try and get some symmetry from side to side. So about equal spacing on either side. And I'm not going to lift all the way, but I'm going to put some pressure on so that they kind of slide into proper position. I'm going to hold that there. Come over and grab a 19. Put just a little initial torque. Then lift the bike. You can see that's how those work. It's really cool the way the Superbike lifters and the GP top supports interact with the motorcycle. If your bike has the ability to accept these Superbike lifters, I think it's a great option. I dig using it on the R1 for sure. Okay, while we're talking about the most common way to lift the bike, let's talk about the handle options. First one is welded fixed. It's going to be the same length as the standard removable. I'll show you that. I'll slide this one in position here and show you what that's going to look like so. So it's going to be this length, but it's fixed. Now, up charges. $10 more for the removable handle. You can clearly see there's a lot more work and effort that goes into it, and I want to show you the hardware. This is all spring-loaded, and then the stand itself has the ability to store that handle once it's removed. It's got a locator hole for the clip, just like the end of the stand does, so it's held in there firmly. Why is this a decent upgrade? Well, let me tell you, if you're storing the bike in a garage, you've now decreased the footprint that it needs because there's no handles on the stands. In the paddock, the stands, the handles stick out a little bit, and they can be a tripping hazard if you're not paying attention when you're walking around. So what's kind of cool is you go with the removables, boom, pop it off, slide it in there, you are good to go. Nothing to trip on. Now let's talk about handle length. The extended handle is $15 more. The difference between the two of these, it's going to come down to lifting effort. This requires about 30% less effort to lift as compared to the standard removable handle or the fixed. Okay, now the last one is the pad stand. Once again, this is not the recommended method. If your bike takes spools, use spools. If it accepts Superbike lifters, go with those. Those are super bitchin'. Top supports are loose. Once again, I'm going to find the best spot on the bike to lift. You want to try and get this as close to the swing arm as possible. That's why there is a soft pad on it to protect the bike. We're going to adjust on both sides. Tighten up that thumb screw. Before I lift, I want to take a look. And remember, we've got somebody here, right? Hopefully you've got friends. You have one of your friends over at the house, and maybe you have a six-pack of cold Corona Lights, and he's holding the bike while you adjust your stand. Got it dialed in, and now to lift it, as with the other methods, simply push down. And all this is doing, this is just supporting the swing arm. This can slide back, for sure. It can't slide forward because we're up against that boss on the swing arm. If your swing arm doesn't provide anything like that boss to stop it from sliding, I want you to keep in mind, it will slide. Pick the most stable spot possible, and I want you to get this as close to the swing arm as possible. This right here, this gap, that is not ideal. The reason I have that is because this motorcycle has the rear wheel speed sensor, and that is the retainer for it, and that is preventing me from adjusting that in any farther. So just to be clear, this option is only to be used if you have a motorcycle that will not accept spools. It is the least secure of all three options. Okay, just to tidy this up, I want you to think about motorcycle stands like this. See this bike? This is a pretty sweet bike, plus it's really clean thanks to all those Maxima products. I got a lot of money invested in this bike. If the bike falls off of a garbage stand, the bike's gonna be all scratched up. I'm gonna be super pissed. There's no doubt about it. So when you really get down to it, if you got a junk bike, buy a junk stand. If you've got a kick-ass bike, buy a kick-ass stand.